Businesses struggle to explain their requirements in simple and structured format. Just follow the 6 time-tested methods and you can move your businesses into a structured mobile workflow. With the correct processes, businesses can move its activities and workflow into a mobile app just like a magic. Just follow the 6 component models that allows you to make a world-class app. The components are task, which can be put in value and the order of the task priority. Number 2, contextual controllers. Number 3, workflows. Number 4, notifications. Number 5, users. Number 6, input and feedback. Let's now move into the component number 1, task thinking. Task thinking is all about 2 things. The number 1 is the task value, and the number 2 is to set the order in the workflow. System thinking should allow you to think every task in your business into 2 buckets. The bucket 1 is the value of the task, and the bucket 2 is the order of the task, or can be called as the priority of the task. Let's take an example. In the transportation mobile app, the task value, that is the choosing of the start point and the end point, is of the highest task value. This is because they form the core goal of the business, making someone travel from A to B. The accuracy of this data needs to be a high fidelity. And the second part is the order in the workflow, in which the end point is set after the start point, and the reverse is not possible. Let's take an example of the offline world. On entering into the McDonald's food store, you're clearly faced with a bright menu chart at the top, and then right below is the menu screen, which will be the service counter wherein you can order stuff. You cannot miss to see the menu board on the top before you enter into the dining area. Why is it that? That's because McDonald's has prioritized the user's task order of mandatorily viewing the product advertisement as a high value task which needs to be seen for their businesses before they can enter into the doorway. The task flow into the mobile system is similar, and then also the task can be in 2 ways, single entry and multiple entry. When you're getting started, single entry point is good. However, complex systems can be designed with many entry points. This ends the component number 1, which is the task that has a value which can be in a range from 1 to 10, and then the order of the task, which is otherwise called as the priority. Now let's move on to the component number 2, which is the contextual controllers. Do not flood the users with multiple controllers in the same screen. Along with the context setting of the controller, the position of the control also plays a key influence and should help the users complete the task that is of high value and in the right order, as discussed in the previous component. This is called scenario-based controllers in the mobile app design. Let's take another example. At the McDonald's, you will experience many types of sauces that will be placed in the dining room. However, the control of the selection of sauces in the dining room is not given during the product selection at the counter. This is called as contextual controllers or scenario-based controllers, wherein the options are given at the right positions at the right context, and the same rule applies in the mobile app. The thumb rule of interaction design is don't flood the users with all the controllers in the same screen. Position and visibility of the controller is an important part of effective design principles to ensure they complete all the contextual tasks and then meet the overall goal. Component number 3, the workflow. From a mobile system thinking, after having identified the task, the prioritization order, and the contextual controller, the next is to make sure these components interact with each other. Workflow is an interaction between tasks wherein each of the subunits communicate with each other. Component number 4, the notification. Once you have the workflow and the system now needs to communicate with the users. So notifications are data points in which the workflow systems can alert the users and then assign tasks of decision for input. Notifications can be of two types. One, the mandate notifications, and two, the non-mandate notifications. Based on the type, the user will be forced upon to act on the notified task. Coming on to the component number 5, user types and roles. Identifying users and roles is crucial to the mobile app design thinking. Example, if a CEO walks into the office, he does not need to sign in the register, which is a high value task. He does not submit the visiting card, which is a low value task. He can skip the security, so there is no workflow followed, and there are no alerts and there are no notifications. However, if some stranger walks into the office, all the tasks mentioned above will need to be applied. Hence, the definition of the user and the roles of each user needs to be clearly defined. This is called as user-based setting, and the workflows are applied as per the user and their role. Component number 6, the last one, input and feedback. The last component is the input and the feedback mechanism. The user is now able to alter the workflow based on an external emergency and can also add input to alter the course. Like an emergency button, on capturing the user input on a special or a rare occasion, there is an activation of A, release of certain controls, B, unfreezing of certain workflows, or C, trigger alerts to certain types and roles. These are based on the user's input and feedback. So, in summary, for any size of business, just need to follow 6 components to meet the world-class workflow, and they are: number 1, the task value and the task order or the priority. Identifying the minor and the major tasks and the order in which they need to be set is the first component that you need to be very clear of. The second, contextual controllers. If you do not have all the controllers at one place, it means you have cleared a lot of thinking through it. You cannot have all the controllers at one place, which confuses the user. The workflow. The system should allow to talk to each other, and there should be a clear communication in the order which the system talks to each other. Notification. Once the workflow is set and clear, the users need to be alerted with information that they can act upon. Users and roles. Based on the users and the roles, there can be certain kind of workflows which can be set on the type of user and the role. Finally, the input and the feedback. The users can change the workflow or the notification can be sent to certain people based on a certain input and a feedback. That ensures that the system is built for all scenarios. Hence, with all these 6 components, you can easily move your business flow into a system mobile approach which will have a world-class look and a workflow. Thank you.